Bill Maher and Ana Kasparian are two liberals that are actually willing to call out the radical leftists that are taking over the Democrat Party. And even though I don't agree with them on much, I can agree with them on these points. But before we begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe on this video so we can break the algorithms. Here we go.
But as you and I both know as Californians, we get a double whammy of experiencing the incompetence of leadership in our state. And so I feel like I find myself in this really interesting position of experiencing what corrupt Democratic leadership looks like and how disastrous it is. Also, it's okay to change your mind if you won, the policies you want have been implemented, and it turns out the policies suck and you don't like them, right? I mean, it's okay to admit, oh, this didn't work out, let's recalibrate. And that was my big issue with Democrats and California in particular, where it's like, oh, we have done some of these criminal justice reforms and they've been kind of disastrous.
Oh, so much. I mean, if I could list just the things that the left has done that they think are helping, that are counter to their own goals.
They're literally getting people
That's how much your head is up your ass, you know, defunding the police,
well,
which, you know, like didn't help African Americans who usually want more police, not corrupt police.
It's even worse than that.
But that,
it's even worse than
they want more police. It's so racist. They think they're being anti-racist, and actually it's being very racist to assume that black people, it's saying, well, aren't they the criminals? We can't have a lot of cops around them. No, they're not.
So a really good friend of mine who does consulting for media, like, would send me polls. And the polls were about, you know, Black Americans and how they feel about policing and what they want. Do they want to defund policing? Do they want to keep the funding levels the same? Do they want to increase policing? And I was shocked. Poll after poll indicated, no, they don't want to cut funding for policing. In fact, the problem they have with policing is that they don't feel that the police force in their community is doing enough to keep them safe in their communities, which is very similar to what was happening in the 1990s. Like if you go back and watch local news reports out of LA, for instance, in the 1990s, one of the biggest complaints from, you know, people living in, at the time it was South Central, now it's considered South LA. One of the biggest complaints was, we don't see enough police keeping our community safe. And so the data is the data. You can't manipulate hard facts. And for me, when I signed on to criminal justice reform, what I thought I was signing on to was we're going to reform our prisons. But the idea of, oh, we're just not going to punish anyone for pretty much anything is not what I thought I was signing up for. But that's pretty much what we've gotten. And preemptively shutting down, you know, 4 to 5 state prisons without really having a plan in place for what happens to oftentimes like violent inmates was a disastrous idea by Gavin Newsom, to be honest.
I mean, the bizarre, just this bizarre obsession with putting women, rather men, or at least people with penises.
Oh, you're going to get me in trouble. You're going to get me in trouble, Bill. You're going to get me in trouble.
Why? There's no trouble for
because
you. Your life is trouble.
I'm supposed to be totally okay with it.
There's no supposed to be. First of all.
Is it bad that I don't want to see a in the women's locker room? Is that bad?
No. There's no.
I just don't. I don't want to see it in the women's locker room.
And you shouldn't, and no woman should. I mean, this is basic 101, and this is, again, to my point about, like, if I just listed, and I could do it for a long time, the things that they do because they're so tripped up by their own ultra-orthodox ideology that they think that that makes them a better person, to be so counterintuitive about all these issues like this, that this makes them the good people, that they're way out ahead on this issue. And you're not, and it's not what people want, and it goes against human nature, and it's not helping. You didn't, you want to champion women, and you didn't. You did the opposite.
I know, because there's the hierarchy.
You made them uncomfortable,
no,
and
100%,
unnecessarily.
100%. Look,
in many ways.
When you see everything as a hierarchy, literally everything's a hierarchy, well then, inevitably, you're going to find yourself in a situation where the rights of one group kind of falls by the wayside.
Right. It's a zero-sum game.
Exactly. And I don't see it that way. The first thing that the left turned on me over was I just kind of got sick of the lingo that was kind of being pushed on us and the way that
Lingo.
yeah, like I don't have kids. I don't want to have kids. And I don't want to be called a birthing person. I find it super insulting. You know what I'm saying?
You never will be.
And that doesn't mean I hate trans people or I want to take rights away from trans. It just means this is my preference. So AOC used birthing people or birthing person.
Of course.
And it was in the context of women's reproductive rights being stripped away from them by the Supreme Court. So I'm already pretty furious about what had just happened in the Supreme Court and the reversal of rights that we've had for decades. And then on top of that, you have AOC referred to women as birthing people because she wants to be inclusive. And yeah, I you know, had a little bit of a moment where I was just like, please don't call me on X, Twitter at the time. Please don't call me a birthing person. I'm a woman. I want to be called a woman.
So you fought with AOC on X? I mean, on Twitter.
I mean, I didn't even mention AOC. I was just making a point to the public. Like, this is where I stand on this specific issue, right? The terminology that's being used to refer to women. One of my friends who works for a different media organization put out like 5 different videos condemning me about it. And I'm just like, this is worth destroying your friendship over? Really? This is insane. And you know me well, we are friends, and you know that I'm not transphobic at all. I just think the feelings and the concerns and the worries of biological women matter too. And I guess it doesn't matter for at least some component of the left.
So here we have Bill Maher and Ana Kasparian both admitting that, yes, they are frustrated with the Democrat leadership. And why are they frustrated? Because of the decisions that the Democrats have made that, of course, have led to horrible outcomes, okay? Because who would have thought that allowing people to steal up to $1,000 without being arrested or investigated would lead to rampant crime? Oh, it was everyone on the right. Who would have thought that by having no cash bail and allowing criminals to get back on the streets, that would actually increase crime? It was all the conservatives. We knew this would happen. And who would have thought that defunding the police and having less police on the streets would lead to more crime? Oh, we said that as well. And who would have thought that actually trying to replace police with social workers wouldn't have any positive effect whatsoever on crime? Oh, that was us again. Okay, so yes, every single decision the left has been making has led to horrible outcomes that, yes, even Bill Maher and Ana Kasparian can no longer ignore. But what they don't realize is that this is just the natural end game of progressivism, right? Because you're always progressing, but progressing towards what and for what reason? Right? If there's always a new civil rights frontier, then what are you actually trying to get civil rights for? Oh, a great example is men in women's locker rooms, men in women's sports. And Ana Kasparian says it perfectly. I just don't want to see men's genitalia in my locker room. But guess what, Anna? By going against that, you're now going against the Progressive Party. And she tells that story about a friend, someone she knew personally for so long, who now, of course, has the purity test on Anna. You're no longer going to be her friend, even though you know who she is, you know what she stands for, but if you deviate on just one issue, guess what? You're cut off, right? And as Bill Maher says, the left are the biggest bullies out there. They don't want to have any type of deviation of opinion. There is no room for dissent, despite the fact that everything the left is fighting for right now is, as Bill Maher says, counterintuitive. It doesn't make common sense. It actually flies in the face of everything we've known for hundreds, if not thousands of years. But just when she gets on a roll, Ana Kasparian had to ruin the whole thing and say, you know what? At the time I made all of these comments that got me in trouble with the radical left, I was very upset because the Supreme Court actually took away women's reproductive rights, okay? But only someone from the left, only someone like Ana Kasparian could actually think that, oh, actually protecting unborn children, unborn babies, is an infringement on the rights of women, all right? It makes no sense. And by the way, that's not actually what happened, because even in crazy progressive leftist places like California and New York, you can still get your abortions up to 9 months, right up until that baby leaves the birth canal. So does that make you happy, Ana Anna, does that progressive ideal really fulfill you on the inside? Because, by the way, she says she doesn't want to have any children ever. So why do you care then if you're referred to as a birthing person? Something else, of course, that is counterintuitive and doesn't make any sense and diminishes women, and of course was set upon us by the radical left. But of course, none of that really matters, because even though both Bill Maher and Ana Kasparian can come out and say that, yes, the radical left is wrong on so many issues, they don't want to entertain the possibility that they're wrong on others. And maybe you should just abandon that party completely and come over to the conservative side, or as we like to say, the side with common sense. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description, where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.